Hello everybody and welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2018 comedy horror Polterheist, a film that is directed by David Gilbank, who also serves as one of the writers, and it stars Joe Mosley, Sid Akbar Ali, Jamie Simbal and Pushpinder Chani. Now, and this is a film that was actually made in my neck of the woods, in Bradford and its surrounding areas, so it's got a West Yorkshire feel and vibe about it, so go Yorkshire. This is a film that focuses on two low-level criminals, Tarek and Boxer, who at the beginning of the film they've misplaced this big gangster Uday. They've misplaced his money, and a guy called Frank has done away with it, and they've accidentally killed this Frank, these two low-level criminals, Tariq and Boxer, and they've no way of knowing where this money is, so they get a bit desperate and they kidnap a local psychic medium, Alice, who has helped the local police discover some bodies, so they think with her psychic abilities she can make contact with this Frank and hopefully help them locate where the money is. However, Frank is none too pleased to have been murdered by them, and he comes back, Frank, through this psychic medium with a pretty sinister plan, and that's the film basically, and the rest of the film is them trying to figure out how they can get this money back to Uday. So there you go. Now, I've seen this film advertised and promoted for well over 6 months and stuff on Facebook and other media and things like that, and this is the first opportunity I've had to see Polterheist. And what did I think of it? Well, there are a lot of pros and cons with this film. It's a British film, obviously filmed in Bradford, and I think, and especially a comedy horror, it's a very, very difficult mix to get right, which I've mentioned before in previous reviews. Comedy is subjective, so again, you know, what I might find funny, you might not. So the comedy is always difficult in a film like this. I think much of the comedy in this was okay, if not laugh out loud all the time. There was only one scene that really made me laugh, and that was a scene at the airport where they're trying to do a fast getaway, and he's got to pay for his ticket at the airport, and he gets a bit frustrated, to say the least, and I thought that was pretty funny. But there are a lot of cons with this film as well. It is pretty low budget, and the plot is a bit nonsensical, and there's a couple of plot threads in the film that it just didn't need. It just felt like filler. There's this rival, I think it's a Ukrainian gang or something involved that's going to get ripped off, and I'm not sure it needed that. But the dynamics between the three leads, and I mean Tariq, Boxy and Alice, was pretty good, and I thought Joe Mosley, who plays Alice stroke Frank, did a pretty good job as a psychic medium. I thought it was a very entertaining performance by her. But I feel there's probably a lot of people going to watch this and think, oh, where's the horror? Because there is no horror here. Even though there's a lot of swearing and some violence, I suppose, it's a fairly tame horror film in regards to the horror elements in it. There's nothing that's really going to make you jump and scare you. It's more focused on the comedy, but like I say, the comedy is subjective, and I'm just not sure it's going to hit the mark with many audience members, this film, because it doesn't satisfy either genres, the comedy or the horror, for me. I thought there were some plot devices, like Boxy was supposed to be a bit thick, a bit of a numbskull, because he murders this Frank by accident, but he actually comes across better than Tariq. He comes across as a really stand-up kind of guy, and it just didn't play well for the character he was supposed to portray. He's supposed to portray this knucklehead, if you like. He was too likeable for me. Almost similar with Tariq, he was a little bit of a level up in regards to his gangster part he was playing, but he wasn't as sinister enough, and And then there was Tariq. I mean, sorry, the Uday, the big honcho, the guy that run the show. He was just full on pantomime villain for me. And I'm not so sure in this day and age the way to portray women in this film was particularly impressive. I don't know. It didn't sit well comfortably with me in a couple of scenes in regards to how the women were portrayed in the film. But that's just me. I think that time has gone now. I don't necessarily think you need it in films. What they were doing. So I'm a bit unsure about this film. I didn't dislike it, but there's too many faults with it to really overly praise it either. So I think I'm going to go straight down the middle with this and give it a 5 out of 10. There is some entertainment to be had. There are some interesting performances. It's a pretty good idea, but for me, there are too many plot holes. Running around airports, pulling balaclavas off. I mean, where are you going to get the most cameras in the world at an airport? And they turn up at the airport in balaclavas to do a robbery, and then within seconds they're off. You've been caught. It's simple as that, really. And the security at an airport it would blow your mind. So there's too many plot holes in the film. And the film doesn't grab you initially. You're not as drawn into the characters as you should be. So when things happen, you don't really care. But the strongest performance definitely was Jo Mosley as Alice, stroke Frank. I thought it was a very impressive performance from her. So it's not a bad film, but I think it could have been so much better. This one would have been an interesting film to watch, maybe with an even bigger budget. So yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I shall see you next time on Screen Stars.